You know, sometimes there are songs that come out for Arknights that the community just rallies behind, annoying the shit out of me in order for me to get to. That doesn't mean I'm actually annoyed, for the record, but so many people wanted me to get to Somniomancer that I was berated in every comment section on every video for about a week, multiple times in Discord, and sometimes just random other places that people were like pinging me and tagging me in that I didn't even know people knew me there. And I'm like, okay, cool, we'll get to it, but I do have a schedule that I usually try to keep, and I am keeping it. So I'm a few days late on this one, but this is Somniomancer. Apparently people love the shit out of this, and that makes me really excited, but also I'm worried it might be overhyped. Hopefully it's not. Even Crywolf, the composer for this, I've seen like a post from him saying in the process of him getting picked for doing the song, being asked to do it, he was just like sharing his process there. I've seen everything basically for this song aside from hearing it myself. So I guess without further ado, let's go. You have my attention. After an intro like that, oh, it's building. Okay. Yo. What the hell? Dude. What character, man? Okay, I see why people were hyped. Whoa. Sound design. That's why people wanted me to listen to it. Ooh. God, the textures are everywhere in this. It's such a unique song. Especially for Arknights. Like, it's got its own identity. It's a completely different sound. I can't think of any other album that's had this. Ooh. Whoa. All right. Okay, doubling down, tripling down on the intensity. Got some Hans Zimmer bombs in there. Always fun. That part. That's so cool. Sounds like gasping. That's so neat. God, got all that resonance too, that like a real piano resonance. I love that. Okay, I get it. I understand now. I get it. So I apologize if me listening to that seemed like I wasn't doing much reacting. I was focusing so hard on how this song was constructed that I kind of forgot that I was recording a video for like at least half of that song in total. There was so many little details in here, the sound design stuff, which of course I'll be getting into, but just everything about this, the motif work, the vocals in here, it's so thick. It's like with 5 C's thick. It has so much stuff going on, and it's so impressive. The scale is nuts. I don't know where to start. There's so many things I want to say on this one that I'm kind of struggling to figure out where to begin. But I think it makes the most sense just to start from kind of the beginning of the song here. The first thing that started to really pull me in was the sound design stuff. These like little clicks and clacks in the vocalizing and like all these digital artifacting things going on in there that was kind of felt just like skittering bugs crawling over your skin, but also it was soft. But it also kind of reminded me of how people like to portray the whole biblically accurate angel vibe. Like a lot of the time you'll get that like repeated echoey sort of vocal thing going on, especially when they talk, and it had that in this. I wonder if that was an inspiration or even a direct reference that he was trying to pull from, because I've heard that a lot, and this has that exact thing going on. But that could have just been a coincidence too. You kind of start thinking, what can you do with like this digital ethereal biblical, and like I said, I did see the post that Crywolf made, so I'm aware that this is supposed to be kind of like a digital pope in a post-apocalyptic Vatican, you know, like sort of vibe going on here, which this definitely hits. And I think that those ideas and those motifs work even better in that context. It just fits so nicely, and it's tied up with a little bow here. It's just, there's so much happening just with that, just that sound design. Then the "why have you forsaken us" thing in there, like that vocal line is so beautiful, and all of the huge orchestral building around that, just pulling that scale even further back, wider, larger, really allowing for that room to just kind of make its space. It sounds like the clouds unfolding, and you're just like, whoa, there's so much up there. Good lord, maybe literally. But I think my favorite bit of sound design has to be that like kind of, it's like a stuttery gasp thing that like, it almost sounds like Hannibal Lecter's thing from Silence of the Lambs. That's really cool. I love that. It's just such a neat little detail in there, especially those clicks added to it, just kind of floating between your ears, and it just sounds like everything is floating around you, like you're in this space, and whatever's talking to you is basically taking hold of your consciousness, like you feel like you can't get away. It's very overpowering in that feel. It's just, it's nuts. I love everything about the sound design in this one, and that's why I wasn't really saying much during the song, because I was just so enamored. I was enraptured by this, and I think it's so cool how he's able to balance all of this sound and make it feel still like it's actively present around you. Like every aspect in here, every layer of vocal that he was adding, all the stuff on the low end, all the extra layers on top, all the effects he was adding to like the main vocal line, especially that one in the center of the song, that was really cool too. It just had this ethereal presence to it, again, kind of giving me that angel feel. Like if those choir vocals or those more layered, like kind of thin child-esque vocals were like the seraphim kind of just being all present in the space and kind of initially sharing with you the feeling and the vibe you're supposed to get from this, and essentially just kind of asking the question of why have you forsaken us. I feel like that second part with that clearer vocal is like Michael coming down, the messenger of God himself, just floating down and basically delivering the same sentiment. Like, okay, well, now they've been here. Now you've got to deal with me, motherfucker. And it's just like that presence, just the presence of everything in this song felt like there was so much power to it. There was so much of that presence that it felt overwhelming, and I think that adds so much to the feeling of the song, especially knowing the context of what it's supposed to be sharing and making you feel. oh, that's so cool. It's just, there's so much here, dude. And I also love that in the overall design of the song, he threw in these like little instruments too, like those like bells, those chimey sort of things going on. They were just so much lighter and they felt like they were floating above everything else, especially when mostly prior in the song, you had a lot of presence in the low end, lots of like horns, lots of brass, lots of lower synth. You had the higher stuff too, but it wasn't nearly as present until right after that vocal section where it has that solo vocal in there. It's just, it's again, the writing of this, the composition of this, the overall structure of this song brings you straight through the story of who's showing up first to tell you and inform you about this, who's like reinforcing that, and then all the rest of them kind of just backing him up at the very last refrain, and they're all singing it right after that huge, angelic, gigantic bolster of energy there, and then it just wisps away. It's like they disappeared back into the heavens, and you'll never see them again maybe, but they had to inform you what you were doing was wrong, or who you are in this case. I'm assuming that you're the good guy in the scenario. Maybe they were informing you about what they're like, because sometimes angelic messages are apparently like that, especially in the Bible. That does happen a few times. For the record, I'm actually an atheist, but I was raised in a Lutheran household, so I'm very aware of the Bible. I've read it cover to cover at least once. I know how things work in that, but just in case it seems weird me bringing up all these biblical references to this, it's just because I've been around that space for long enough in my life that I know what they're kind of going for in that way, and I assume that that's what they're going for, and that's what Crywolf is attempting to do here, and I think he nailed it. I think he absolutely nailed that like ethereal, floating, angelic weirdness. You know, it doesn't sound normal. Almost every single depiction of angels in the Bible, aside from the ones that have been like watered down to be like, oh look, it's just a person, usually they're not. You know, like usually there's a bunch happening. It's terrifying. It's almost never something that's just, oh, you know, casual angel just showed up. It's like a whole thing, you know? So I think that's really neat that he's going for this like very ethereal sound. And again, it's matching what a lot of the modern zeitgeist is starting to do with the angelic image and people using those like biblically accurate concepts, where a lot of the time you'll just get people making pictures of them and they're not always like what I would count as accurate, but also it's not like I study this shit. So it's very possible that some of those are closer than others, but all in the same, I love this approach, especially when you toss in that like cyber energy to it, that digital flair that just makes everything feel a little bit more dystopian and kind of just unclean, and just all the textures that are available to you with that, because the digital world musically has so much more flexibility with what it can do. You can make organic sounds out of digital. You can't make digital sounds out of organics nearly as easily, though some people have managed. It's still very impressive to me how much Crywolf nailed this, just married that aesthetic really, and just made this amazing song. I want to hear more from Crywolf now. I feel like I've never heard the name, but also part of me feels like I've seen it around, like floating around before. So maybe I have heard something from Crywolf before, but I don't think it's been anything in the games. So maybe I've just coincidentally stumbled upon a song from them, but either way, I'm definitely going to need to listen to more, and I hope they keep working with Arknights, because this is an aesthetic and a sound that needs to stick around. There needs to be more of this in here, not just for that whole digital church aesthetic, but just other things. When you have somebody who can nail an aesthetic like this and make it feel so right, I'm sure that they can nail something else. So I hope that Crywolf sticks around for a while. But I have been yapping for quite a long time, so thank you all so very much for watching. I know I said I was going to be getting to that other animation from the anniversary, but I have not gotten to it quite yet. Wait a couple more days. I'm planning on getting there very soon. It'll still be within this week. I've just kind of been stumbling with other stuff going on in my life and correcting things in the streams and everything else like that. So I'm sorry, but thank you for your patience, and I hope you don't get mad at me for taking that extra time. But if you have anything else you want to request, of course, leave it in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. And otherwise, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!